So hello my dear brothers and boys, today we will play as the base state known as Georgia. And today, Iosip Kabadjugashvili, also known as Papa Stalin, will take power in this fabulous country. Yeah, you heard me right, we are going to establish a totalist Georgia, which will later transform into Great Transcaucasian Totalist Union. You know, it's gonna be like Soviet Union, but even better. Because ruling a mountain Gulag known as Georgia is much better than sitting in Moscow and ruling the Russian plains. We all love mountain gulags and we all love Georgia and its terrain. Yeah, adopting Georgian socialism is gonna be an insane adventure. Without further ado, let's establish the power of Papa Stalin in Georgia. The Democratic Republic of Georgia. Brudas, we can't abandon such a place. Georgia must survive at any cost. Yeah, shadows of the Russian Civil War. Tell that to the Papa Stalin, to Iosif Kabadjugashvili and the Communist Party of Sakartvelo, also known as Georgia. Warren, to say the least. Of course it's Warren, because if you don't agree with Papa Stalin, he will send you to Gulag. Sounds reasonable. Black Monday hits our nation? Wait, excuse me, I was waiting for a White Tuesday. What the hell is this? Oh, well, I got it. Yeah, the situation isn't so good for Georgia and we must do something as fast as possible because things are going pretty bad for Georgia. Wait, where is my piglin? The pig was hit with a zap, which means that piglin should appear. Man, I think that someone is lying to me, and that's definitely the Hoyfor developers because they doesn't know anything about piglins. So they broke this poor pig to steal my gold, not to let me trade with piglins. However, I've got some cash near water, so I don't care about it. Re-examine the Treaty of Potty. Yeah, for sure, give me my money. Cause we need to organize the totalist revolution in Tbilisi and Georgia. Alright, so the food prices are skyrocketing in Georgia, but you know what? Our social democratic government will act like a true libertarians and they will tell their people that you can't change the market because the market can fix itself and that's all. We can't intervene into our economics. Sure, nothing wrong will happen right after that. Huh? Protests? Excuse me? Never heard of that. The market economy doesn't know a thing known as protests. Is that a currency of Azerbaijan or Albania? Okay, what about re-examining the Treaty of Potty? Between these two options, we will choose the second one because we are the German lapdogs, so we cannot alienate the Germans. Bail out the company. However, going deep down into this focus tree line isn't required, so we are going to reform our army instead. So the army reform will be started with officers training shims. The minority situation worsens. Wait, what is minority? We have never heard of that. Georgia consists only of Georgians, and that's the point. You know, crime is not a thing for Papa Stalin, so minorities? Yeah, never heard of them. So the new question arises, importing food? Well, I don't think that is a good idea because the market economy knows what to do with itself, so this is too risky for our economy. We shouldn't focus on that. Yay, the situation becomes worse. This is pretty good for us. This is really good because Papa Stalin gets a chance to get power in Georgia. Finally, food rights provoke Bolshevist revolt, with Papa Stalin as its head, and between these two options, SKP manages to seize power. Glory to Papa Stalin, glory to totalists, glory to Georgia. Live in Middle Europa, honestly we don't care about it. Why did we even sign up to half of this? I don't know. Guys, and take a look at this beautiful color. Red pinkish color. and the name Georgian Socialist State. And yeah, with Papa Stalin at his head. And just look at his fantastic Georgian mustache. Mr. Djugashvili has the best mustache in the entire world. Yeah, we will finally start adopting the Georgian socialism. The people of Georgia are prepared for this brave new ideological shift. Strength, hard work, and patriotic duty will define this nation, no longer restrained by the shackles of ever fractured backwards nation. Only the limits of comrade loyalty can stop Georgian socialism. Glory to comrades, glory to Papa Stalin. So, any last words? Russian influence? We are sorry to say that, but Russia has no longer a chance to be in Georgia. So restricting the language is really important for us. We all know that the clash between the Russia and Georgia is gonna be inevitable in the upcoming years, so we have to prepare for it correctly. The question of the Orthodox Church of Georgia arises, and you know what? Orthodox totalism is better than just totalism, so the church is an integral part of Georgian culture because it gives us plus 15% of stability instead of making religious a bad sin, because it takes our stability and I don't like it. I like things that give me stability. So yeah, glory to Papa Stalin and Jesus Christ. Finally, in August 1936, we have reached a fixed tree line known as "We Kneel to No Other Nation." The anti-Russian cultural campaign has succeeded in fighting off Russian influence, however we are still susceptible to outside domination if we do not take direct action. The Ottoman Empire has long tried to shape our politics in their favor. We need to send out a clear message: Georgia kneels to no other nation. First, we will attack and annex Azerbaijan, and then we'll prepare for the war against the Ottoman Empire and Vilayet of Armenia. Because without the support from the Cairo axis, we won't be able to do that. However, before attacking Azerbaijan and local Hitler from Azerbaijan, Mohammed bin Rasulzadeh, Azerbaijani Hitler, we should better search this Power to the People's Guard because it gives us lots of buffs for our army. So, in October 1936, the war between Stalin and Hitler, yet another war between Stalin and Hitler, will start here in Kaiserredux, between Georgia and Azerbaijan. So the Great Trial has finally started. The Georgian Socialist State declared war on the Azerbaijan People's Republic. The situation isn't so bad for us because soon we will have a chance to break the front line in Azerbaijan and reach Baku in a few weeks. I guess we've got a new field marshal because the previous one has magically disappeared. Thanks to the direct rule of Papa Stalin on the front line, we have finally managed to break the defense and Azerbaijani forces are making a few steps back into the deeps of the country. After stabilizing the situation on the front line, I finally found an opportunity to break the front line and go from Goris to Baku. We can do it from south to the east. Yeah, we have encircled one division of Azerbaijan army and now we can do our best to go to Baku. Azerbaijan proposed peace? Excuse me, I don't need your peace. We're now looking forward to Transcaucasia. While if Azerbaijan rejects, push forward for Baku, brothers. Congratulations, my dear comrades, we are one step away from taking Baku. So, any last words, Azerbaijan? Just as we predicted, after capturing Baku, Azerbaijan has capitulated. And we're taking the entirety of it. In my opinion, that's a great expansion of Georgian socialist state, because take a look at that, boys. Previously we had 3.2 million of people living in Georgia, and now we added 3.1 million people to it, which is an equal population to the Georgian one. And now it's time to form the Transcaucasian Union, since I don't want to cover all of these territories, and also I want to form the Transcaucasian Union. And get even more cores on the surrounding territories. Chairman Djugashvili declares the Transcaucasian state. What a glorious event. Take a look at Papa Stalin. I think that he is proud of what he has done in this campaign. Unity at last. The best thing about it is that we didn't change our glorious color, which is nice, because I really love and I really enjoyed this color. Anyway, now we are known as the Great Transcaucasian Socialist State, and now we have such a base flag, and Papa Stalin is the leader of this state. Oh my god, mountain gulags, what a fantastic idea! Especially when we see that it will let us 4 military factories. Of course we need those mountain gulags. The Grand Caucasus Mountains range provides an impenetrable fortress of nature, conquered and tamed only by the strength of the Georgian people. Comrade Jugashvili has devised an excellent plan to make use of this: construction of labor camps that will house enemies of the state. There shall be no escape from these mountain gulags. Gosh, it's even better than the regular gulags because you can't escape a gulag which is located 4,000 meters above the sea. What an excellent idea, Comrade Jugashvili. This man has always invented only fantastic ideas. You may ask me why do we have only 3 years plan, and the answer to this question is simple. We can't count to 5, so 3-year plan is way more than enough for us, because counting to 5 is too hard for totalists. While in case of Papa Stalin it is pretty fair because, fun fact, he used to rob banks in Russian Empire. So yeah, Mr. Jugashvili was a real criminal back in the Russian Empire because he needed money to organize the Communist Party, so that's why they robbed banks. Loyalty or fear? Excuse me, but I prefer loyalty. Loyalty is everything, especially in case of Papa Jugashvili. Workers, soldiers, government officials all pledge their undying allegiance to Jugashvili. Is it through the love of the chairman, or perhaps the result of our successful show of force? The answer is irrelevant, for it's undeniable that the chairman's strength and power is unquestionable. Russia announces her ambitions, and that's pretty bad for us, because we all know that they are preparing a war against us. However, to avoid it, I think that we should better join the Third International. Now we are the member of the Third International, and I guess that Russians won't even try to attack this powerful alliance. Cause if Russia attempts to attack the Transcaucasian Socialist State, they will also have to fight against the French Commune, Union of Britain and Norway. Just Norway. Brudas, I guess the time has come to solve the equation of social democrats, who are also known as the moderate Menshevists. The Menshevik question? Here we've got 2 different options, and you know what? Between 2 of them, I prefer the second one, because we shall bring them to the trial and make a public example out of them. Yes, the great trial, just as I like. Remember, all the traitors should be punished. And the final focus in our focus 3 line. Jugashvili is Georgia and Georgia is Jugashvili. The chairman's love for Georgia knows no bounds. He will sacrifice anything to assure that the Georgian people are free from all forms of tyranny and oppression, and in turn the Georgian people truly love their chairman. The nation has evolved into Jugashvili's idealized society. Jugashvili is Georgia and Georgia is Jugashvili. Glory to Papa Stalin, glory to Jugashvili! You know, the Georgian propaganda sounds so true, so you want to repeat it over and over. While in case of the Menshevik trials, we've got 3 different options. The third one gives us some popularity, but it takes our stability. The second one is boring, it gives us 10 political power, and I don't really want to read it. However, the first one tells us that they have provided a satisfactory defense, they will only be removed from government positions and put under the house arrest. It also gives us 15% of stability, so why not? Let's call it a great trial and they will sit at their homes doing nothing. In our fabulous state, sitting at home and doing nothing is the largest punishment you can get. In the United States they can kill you for doing a crime, however in Georgia they will send you to home and you will do nothing instead of looking into your window at the prosperous Georgian society. What a peaceful Jugashvili we've got today. And that's because of his amazing mustache. The mustache is everything in our case. Like I said, the cult of Jugashvili has risen at its peak. Long live the chairman, glory to Jugashvili, and take a look at a fantastic portrait of our beloved Vozhd, Georgian Vozhd. His impact on Georgia has transcended into an almost godlike entity. His legions of devout followers worship him as the savior and defender of their nation. I think that cult of Jugashvili in this universe is much bigger than it was in the real life, because in the real life he was a great chairman Stalin, but here he is really almost a godlike entity. And that's not a joke. Jugashvili is a definition of Georgia itself. Oh my god, bro, what did you do with Armenia? You have to be destroyed for annexing it. We totally disapprove such a move, Ottoman Empire. Oh no, if you go out into the woods today, so Mr. Jugashvili was attacked by the bear, which was shot a few seconds before he would kill Mr. Stalin. Luckily, the chairman is alive. His bodyguards then appear, firing at the bear, wounding it before it could kill him. Luckily, our beloved chairman recovers from the attack. Rest well, chairman, you should get enough power to heal the wounds. I think that Garibaldi has gone crazy since now he's fighting not only against two cities, Roman state and Lombardia, but also against the entire Austro-Hungarian Empire. Dude is sick. Whew, Russians don't care about us anymore since now they are fighting against Kazakh Republic and they are also fighting against the Far Eastern Russian Hitler, also known as Vasily Hitler, angry Hitler from the Russian Far East. However, the Entente is doing pretty fine in this campaign since they have gained Kingdom of Spain, Ireland and Greece into their alliance even before the Second World War has started, which are pretty good positions to attack the Third International. Like, yeah, they are our enemies, but whatsoever. The Baku-Pori pipeline? Oh, I got the point. That's how we appeared in the Baku, thanks to the pipeline. So we acted like Ninja Turtles going from Tbilisi to Baku using a pipeline. What a fantastic idea. However, if Donald Trump was the president of the United States in 1936, we would definitely avoid the war between Georgia and Azerbaijan. Because Donald Trump would solve all our equations without starting a single war. Finally, in September 1938, the Black Monday crisis will be finally solved and all of the debuffs will disappear. It may have taken some time and extensive political work, but Georgia has finally overcome Black Monday and the economy is back to the optimal health once more. And that all had happened only because of the Jugashvili's firm hand and Donald Trump's presidency in 2024. The more seriously you tell about it, the more hilarious it becomes. I guess it is the right time to prepare my war goal against the Ottoman Empire. Since Kaiserredux can attack the Sublime Ottoman Federation at any point, and we shall be prepared for doing that at the same time. I'm also preparing yet another 6 divisions, which means that we will have total of 30 divisions, which will go and capture Ankara and then Constantinople. Yeah, I definitely want to see Turkey as my puppet. In a few weeks, Ottomans were attacked by Egypt and Iran, which means that it is the right time to seize Batumi, at least to attempt to do that. If everything goes well, the war will be started with better positions. I don't have decision to attack Armenia anymore, so yeah, let's justify the war goal against Yerevan as well. Oh wait, it will take 8 months, so I don't really want to do that. Well, Armenia has capitulated, so it isn't a problem for us anymore. Brudas, I guess that we received some good news because Ottomans withdrew from Batumi, an ancient Georgian city. So, welcome back, Batumi. It's time for me to finally join this war and defeat the Ottomans. we shall build a new socialist Turkey on its terrain. As you may see, everything is going pretty good for us. It looks like the Ottoman front line is collapsing since they are not able to stop our forces on the road to Samsun. Hell yeah, we have established control over Samsung. The Ottomans think that they are still able to hold the front line and survive this massive attack? Yeah, I think so. So everyone has accepted the Ottoman surrender, and the only country who has to fight them still is us. And yeah, their army is still huge, compared to my one, which consists of 31 divisions. Well, at least I can integrate some new lands into the great Transcaucasian socialist state. Whoa! The Federation of the Communes of France declared war on the German Empire. We wish luck to our commie brothers. And right now we have to deal with the Ottoman Empire. Bulgaria, my lovely Bulgaria, you have joined the Third International and you are an amazing ally to help me defeat the Ottoman Empire, so yeah, I want to call you into this war, so you will get some more lands and I will get my lands. Sounds reasonable. Damn, it looks like we are successfully attacking the Ottomans and Ankara is one step away from falling. Congratulations, brothers, Ankara was successfully liberated. So what will you say now, Ottoman Empire? Your forces are encircled in a huge amount on the south part of the country. 18 divisions to be exact. As you may see, Ottomans are unable to open up the encirclement, which means that they are totally cooked. What a fantastic encirclement, I really enjoy closing it. Vroom 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 vroom, your tanks won't vroom anywhere else except from this cauldron. Ottomans are one step away from capitulation, and that's even without taking Constantinople, which is really impressive. So that's the territory of the Ottoman Empire, which will be divided between me and Bulgaria. So that's how the Ottoman Empire is divided. I left some territories to Bulgarians and the rest of that will go to the newly established Turkish Socialist Republic. What a great territory we have conquered just in a few years with the help and power of the Papa Stalin. So that's how the territory of a newly formed Turkish commune looks like. So my next goal is gonna be the Republic of Iran, as its territories are also my core states. I need to get the territories of southern Azerbaijan along with Van and Kurds. It will take us another 80 days to attack Persia, which is enough and good for us. Zargut, Persia. My next step is gonna be Tehran. We are going to liberate this ancient city from Persian rule and from market liberals who are destroying this fabulous country. Only we, totalists, can bring greatness to this ancient country and make Iran great again. Any last words, приятель? Well, after looking at the situation on the front line, I can state that it is going to be an easy war. Since Iran isn't capable of holding the defense line and the amount of divisions is too low to hold our offensive. And at the same time, our beloved French communards are doing pretty well on the western front line, as they have already defeated Belgium and they have almost reached Amsterdam, which means that technically Netherlands are almost captured and the next step is gonna be Berlin. However, we shouldn't forget about Austrians and the immense frontline wisdom. I should definitely help my allies to defeat German imperialists. Whoa, Egypt has become a republic and now it has an insane sphere of influence. That looks pretty interesting. I want to place the Egyptian Republic. In a month, Tehran was captured, which means that the war with Iran will end up pretty soon, and as you may see, our casualties are pretty small, while Iranian are significantly larger. And now we can also integrate 3 regions right into the Transcaucasian socialist state. Bye bye, Iran. Now that shape looks amazing. And that's how the post-war borders looks like. Yeah, we should definitely help our French communards to reach Berlin. And the only way to do that is to crush Transcaucasian autonomous state. While Austrians have joined this war, which means that we are gonna do it as well. Yeah, French commune, I know it. I'm joining this war. Let's go, brudas! No time for precautions. It's time to defeat the Reichspakt. It's time to make totalists and Papa Stalin great again. Papa Stalin is gonna be one of the winners of this conflict. Yeah, I know. We are cooking and we are defeating the German puppets in Russia. In the next few days, the Entente has joined this war, which is pretty funny since they could do it many days before that and help Germans. However, they didn't decide to do it, so yeah, now you're gonna be defeated. It looks like we are invading Crimea. After capitulation of German Russia, it's time to reach Kiev from the east, from Donbass. Whoa, wait, what? Commune of France betrayed us? In consequences of the Russian ultimatum, the communist government left us alone against this threat. What shall we do? Of course, resist the invader? Wait, what? Excuse me, Russians are going to attack us? Is this a joke? What the hell has happened with the Third International? Why did it disappear? This game is becoming insanely strange. Now we are left alone to fight one by one against the Reichspakt and the remnants of it. At least I'm not fighting against the Entente, so everything is pretty good for us in this case. However, from that point we understood that the only man who we can trust is Iosif Dugashvili, our Papa Stalin. He is the only man whom we can trust. Whew. The collapse of the Reichspakt. The good news are coming from the Germany. The collapse of the Reichspakt has finally happened. The Kaiserreich is about to fall. So only a few countries have capitulated, but nevertheless, let's divide them. So I took all the lands of the Transcaucasian autonomous state, and that's way more than enough for me in this peace treaty. My next step is capitulation of Ukraine. So that is the end for Ukraine, and now we will divide it together with the Russians. Yeah. So I got 95% of the Ukrainian lands because I captured all of them, and that's not your business, Russia. So that's how the post-war sphere of influence of the great Transcaucasian socialist state looks like. We have released Don People's Republic, was an amazing Soviet man. Semyon Budony was a amazing, brilliant, fabulous, fantastic mustache. I would make him a field marshal of my army only because of his mustache. What a great mustache he has. We are known as the Caucasian state, so I took only the lands of the Caucasian mountains and the surrounding areas to make sure that the state is stable. And now the population of this great Transcaucasian state is 19 million of people, which is equal to nowadays Romania. Bye bye, Austro-Hungarian Empire. And now we have to divide all of its territory. So the Austro-Hungarian Empire was divided between me and the French communards. They took Austria, Bohemia and Duchy of Illyria. Meanwhile, I have annexed Galicia, Lodomeria and Hungary. Welcome back, Hungarian Socialist Republic and its maximum size. Totalist Galicia, Lodomeria was a local Hitler. What a mistake. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? The Russian Republic declared war on the Don's People Republic. Technically, now I've got a small Soviet Union with a great sphere of influence that at some points reminds us of the Warsaw Pact, and at some points it reminds us I don't know what. But nevertheless, it's time to fight with the weak Russian Republic, as they've got only 70 or 80 divisions, which is pretty low. Oh well, the capitulation of Russia is going way easier than I thought it would be, as Russians just simply don't have enough forces to put the front line and stabilize it. I think that we can reach Moscow in a few months, but do we really need to do that before they capitulate Poland, Lithuania and the United Baltic Duchy? I don't think so. However, I'm not sure in their capability of capitulating them all. Yeah, the Russians are not capable of holding the front line, and that's for sure. Alright, so hear me out. Russia is not capable of holding the western front line, which means that one day they will probably reach Moscow, which is gonna be bad for us, so we have to make sure that our own offensive will be successful and we will reach Moscow first. And as you may see, 90% of my bubbles are green one, which means that everything is going pretty fine. The situation is so bad for Russians at this point that they've got only 50 divisions for the entire front line, which strays from Petrograd and right up to Bishkek, to mountainous Kyrgyz Republic. 50 divisions for thousands of kilometers. Nice! May 1941, and as you may see, Moscow is encircled. So, any last words, Russian Republic? Furthermore, we are responsible for the most casualties in the Russian army. Congratulations, we did it. The Moscow has fallen under the Soviet pressure of Papa Stalin. And that's all because of the Georgian man known as Papa Stalin. Yosif Kabadjugashvili has liberated Moscow from traitors from Russian Republic. So the entirety of the Russian Republic is mine now, except for the mountainous Kyrgyz Republic, which is now a part of the Islamic Emirate of Fergana. So yeah, I have technically restored the Russian Empire, not in its greatest borders, but nevertheless, Georgia has restored the Russian Empire. That's a pretty rare thing, to say the least. Oh, I forgot to mention that my next stop is of course gonna be Helsinki. I need to capitulate Finland. Finlandia, you're gonna become the next totalist country of Georgia. Fun fact, most of the Finnish army is now trapped in the depths of Russia, so they've got no chance to get back to their homeland and defend Finland. And that's how the post-war Russian Soviet Republic looks like, ruled by Grigory Zinoviev. Excuse me, am I a traitor? You betrayed me and you call me a traitor? Oh yeah, after becoming a social democrat, you call totalists traitors. I got your point, French commune. Goodbye. I have never heard of you, I have never known you. Remember, Papa Stalin doesn't approve social democrats or any other kind of socialism because the only true socialism is totalism. Excuse me, Grandma, why are you ruling Italy? Something is definitely going wrong with the Western communards. Bye bye, Finnmark. Ah, Finland. Welcome back on the world stage. So Mr. Djugashvili took power in country which had only a few divisions and was a de facto German puppet and left it as a great empire which has some of the borders of the Russian Empire and the Soviet Union and also an immense sphere of influence for such a country, as now we've got puppets in Turkey, Persia, Don, Russia, Ukraine, Galicia, Hungary, and the Bulgarians are our friends. So the previous Russian colony has united Russia itself and now Russia is our puppet. So that's what Mr. Stalin can do with your country as well. Just leave an email for us and we will build a mountain gulag in your country. Or if you don't have mountains, we can always build an island gulag. Don't worry, we will find a way to make your country great again. Without a doubt, Papa Stalin did his best to make Georgia great again. Summarizing, Mr. Djugashvili has a fantastic mustache.